Okay, so first of all, we want to thank you for just being here. We know that there are 100 other things you could be doing tonight. You probably have family. You had other options of what you could do on your Wednesday night, but you chose to be with us tonight here to listen to our stories, and we are so, so thankful for that. So I'm going to start, and I'm just going to introduce myself and tell you a little bit about my story as a coach. And I'm just going to go ahead and warn you that I kind of have a really crazy story as a coach because Beachbody coaching has literally changed my life, and I don't say that lightly. I have been coaching for 2.5 years, a little over 2.5 years, which is quite a bit longer than both Allie and Shelby. So their stories are a little bit different than mine, but that's why I wanted them to come and do this with me, because I want you to see that Beachbody coaching can literally be anything you want it to. Like, it can be a part-time thing where you make a few $100s a month. It can be something where you make a full-time income, but you're still doing your other full-time job if you want to. Or if you really want it to be, it can be a full-time job like it is for me. And I actually walked away from my teaching job to pursue this full-time. So I guess to start, my name is Paige. I was a teacher for 5 years before walking away to become a Beachbody coach full-time. In my third year of teaching, so about 2.5 years ago, I followed a random girl on Instagram, and I was super interested in what she was doing because she was excited about working out. She was making money, and most importantly to me at the time, she was paying off student loans and talking about how coaching was leading to that. And I saw she was teaching while doing all of this. So I reached out to her and I was like, you've got to tell me what you're doing because I want to know. My student loans are coming up, and I was terrified to start paying student loans because I was a teacher and my husband is a teacher. And believe it or not, we weren't like making bank. We were doing fine. But when I saw like, okay, we're going to have at least $500 a month from my loans alone, and then on top of that, my husband's loans were going to be like $300 a month. When I thought about like cutting $800 out of our budget, that was just something that we didn't have. And I didn't want to make room for that because that would have meant we were going to cut out everything fun and enjoyable, and we would just be paying bills as teachers. So I started with the motivation of only to make money. Literally, I was like, I'm pretty healthy. Like, I work out 6 months a year. I can probably handle this, but really I just want to make money. And my husband was super skeptical. He's like, this sounds like you could lose all of our money. This sounds like one of those pyramid schemes. Like, I just don't want you to start and then lose money. And I kind of agreed with him, but on the same note, I saw what Megan, who is the girl I was watching, I saw what coaching did for her. So I continued to watch, and I continued to share with Ethan, who is my husband, that I really wanted a shot at this. So basically we made a deal. It was June, and he said, okay, I will give you until December of this year. And if you don't make any money by December, then you have to quit. And I said, fine, that's a deal. So I came out of the gates hot. And basically the first thing that I noticed is my health was completely changed. I was the type of girl who was a calorie counter. I was a runner. I hated it. I did like 6 months of workouts a year running to look good in a bikini, and that was pretty much it. So for me, the first thing was I actually stuck to a workout routine for a really long time, and that was life-changing for me. I felt different. I looked different. Like, my face looks different still because I'm still keeping it up. Like, my face shape has changed because I'm a healthier person. And once I started to do that, like, people were really interested in what I was doing, and they kept asking me questions. And because of that, and because of me sharing, I also started to make a little bit of money. And by 6 months, let me do a little disclaimer here. You're not guaranteed any certain amount of money when you become a coach, but there are certain things you can do that can produce income. And I was very dead set on doing it. My husband gave me until December, and by January of that following year, I was making $1,000 a month as a Beachbody coach because of my consistency and my hard work. So I have had an insane journey, you guys. Like, my life has changed like crazy because of the emphasis on just being a healthy person. For the first time ever, I walked into a counseling office because being a coach is about more than just your physical health. And I was pushed to become the healthiest version of myself that I've ever been, which included for me mental and emotional and spiritual. So I walked into a counseling office almost a year after I started coaching. And because of that, like because of coaching, and then because I went to counseling, I was freed of a lot of emotional and mental baggage I carried for a lot of years, like 13-ish years. Because of that, I got a tattoo because my life has been changed so much. Like literally, I began walking in so much freedom after becoming the absolute healthiest version of myself. That counseling journey would have been the death of me had it not been for counseling and the Lord. And I mean, for coaching and the Lord, because this community is what held me together. And obviously the Lord held me through the toughest season of my entire life. And that happened to also be the last year I taught, which was last year. So it was super hard year, super challenging. But I felt so secure in my decision to walk away from teaching, which I resigned about a year ago in February. And then I got to walk away and pursue coaching full time starting technically in May, but it felt like in August of this year. So there are a lot of little ins and outs to my story, but I don't want to take the whole time. If you ever have questions, like you can ask me anything and I will be an open book. So I will throw it to Allie.
Hi, okay, I'm Allie and I live near Austin, Texas. And I am a mom of Drew, who's supposed to be asleep, but he's behind me playing iPad. And he's 3, and then Mary Davis is 1.5. And I actually started coaching because I was a challenger first. Oh my goodness. Okay, I was a challenger first. And so this past summer, when the Morning Meltdown 100 was like the big program, I watched, I don't know, I probably followed like a million Beachbody coaches, and I just kept watching them talk about it. And finally, the day before it was starting, I remember I was on my back porch with my husband, and I was just like in tears, like, I know that we don't have any money, but I'm about to spend this amount of money because I need to do something to change my life. And for some reason, I was just so motivated by all these people I was seeing. I was like, whatever they're doing, they've got something going on that I don't have. And so I need to do it. And he was like, okay, like, I think he was kind of freaked out by how emotional I was about it. But I ended up signing up as a challenger. I did Morning Meltdown 100 in 100 days. I lost 20 pounds. And literally, like, I didn't even do it for the weight loss. I just did it because I needed something in my life. And that was it. And so after that, I was like, okay, if I'm doing this and I'm loving every second of it, I can't be quiet. Goodbye. I'm so sorry, y'all. Okay, so I just loved every second about it. And before I even became a coach, I found myself like talking to people about it. And I'm like, if I'm going to tell people about this thing that I love, I might as well be a coach and like go full force into it and be encouraging these people and making a side income from it, because I'm also a stay-at-home mom, so I'm not making any money, and it's nice to have some extra income when we only have one income in our family. So I called Paige and I was like, I really want to be a coach, but I can't really convince my husband to do it. And so I literally ended up writing a business plan, and like, these are my goals for each month. And I have beat my goals for every single month so far. And this is literally my 3rd month. So it's hard work, and it's one of those things that's like, it's not going to come easy, but the fact that I can do it and like work my job when I am at the play gym with my kids, or like today I was sending people messages from the Children's Museum, and I'm able to help people and make money. And honestly, like, I would tell people about it no matter what, even if I wasn't making money, but it's nice to be able to make something for what you're doing.
I remember when you first told me that you were making a business plan for your husband, and I think that is a huge reason why you've seen so much success, because you had a goal and you're like, I'm going to do this thing. So I love that. Shelby.
Hello, I'm Shelby. I have been a coach since the very end of May into June. Sorry if this is like really obnoxious. But I was a challenger like in the middle of May. I'd been watching Paige since about this time last year, and I had like just finished my last season of volleyball, and I was like kind of just in a rut of like with my health. Like, I've always liked working out. I studied exercise science and during my undergrad with Jenna, actually. And So I knew the things I was supposed to be doing, but I wasn't doing them on the nutrition route, or if I was, it was for like 3 or 4 days, and then I would like quit, and I would just what my eating was trash, and then I'd be like, I'll start Monday, and that happened several times. And then I also was still working out every day, but when you're not fueling your body, like you're gonna feel like crap still, like when you're working out. But then also I wasn't pushing myself near as much as I had like when I played volleyball, but then also like now that I have this community. But so it was literally like, I think it was like 10 days after I joined Paige Challenge Group that I was like, all right, I want to coach. I want to do this coaching thing. And it wasn't until probably the end of the summer-ish, like, that I was like, okay, I want to do this thing like full time. So that's my goal, is to do this full time this time, or by the end of this year, because I'll finish my master's at the end of this year. And so, yeah, that's kind of me. Like, I have my certification in personal training and strength and conditioning, but I've just realized how much like having all the tools are great, and like we have so many tools with Beachbody, but there's nothing like this community and accountability to actually move you forward in your health goals and your business goals too.
So you might be like, okay, I hear like all their stories and like they started and they're making money. Great. Like, what do they actually do? I feel like that's the most common question we get is like, okay, like I see you on social media, but what is your job? Like, what's the work that you do? So I'm going to pass it to Allie, and she's going to tell you what like a day in the life of a coach is like what are the daily actions we do to actually run a business and make money.
Okay, so I think one of the things that really drew me to Beachbody was that like the number one focus is you taking care of yourself. So you are doing the workouts, you're picking a program and like following it by the book. And then you're also doing the nutrition and following that by the book. And then you're also like using Shakeology and the supplements that are super helpful. So literally like number one priority, first thing I do when I wake up is I take care of myself. And then another part of taking care of yourself is also they're super like encouraging of you doing personal development. So for some people that might be reading like a personal development book. Other people, like for me personally right now, I'm really focusing on doing my Bible reading and fitting that into my day because I haven't been doing that before. But like all of those things are literally part of the job description, taking care of your body, taking care of your mind. Oh yeah, definitely, Shelby. Okay, so that's the first thing. Then the next thing that you have to do is share what you're doing. So you're sharing your workout, you're sharing whatever you're doing for professional development or personal development, and showing people your journey, how it's changing your life, how it's changing your mind, whatever. And then as you do that, as you're showing people, you're also inviting people to join you. Hey, do you want to join my challenge group? So that looks like posting on social media, like being in your stories, being on your posts, and then actually using the social aspect of social media to engage with your followers and engage with people who are engaging with your stories and your posts. And it's not so much just like inviting people, hey, want to do my challenge group, but really having conversations with them and really digging in deep to what they're looking for. So I think that was one thing that has really, like, at the beginning, I thought I was just going to be sending out invites, but it's so much like, hey, what does your workout routine look like? What are you struggling with? Like, how's your nutrition? What are some issues that you have with that? And really finding out what people's motivation is or what it is that they're looking for, and then almost like diagnosing the issue and then how you can help them or how Beachbody fits into that. So that's been a huge game changer for me. So essentially you are working on yourself, inviting other people to do it, sharing your journey. And then also you can invite people to the business opportunity of it. Yeah. So inviting other people to join in with what you're doing coach-wise or challenge group-wise. Do y'all have anything, Shelby or Paige, to add to that?
I just want to add something because I know that people get really scared of like MLMs and like I'm not a salesperson. And I think what Allie said is really important because our main job isn't selling really. I mean, if you break it down and look at it, you're like, okay, well, we are making sales, but our main job is to coach people and lead them to the solutions to the problems that they've always had. So it's like, okay, and you also don't have to be the expert. You're just sharing with them what's working for you. So if somebody's had trouble staying consistent with their health routine, which I have before, I'm sure all of us have before, my solution is being a coach because the accountability in the community keeps me going. So that's what I share with people. I'm like, listen, I hear you. Tell me what's held you back from staying consistent. And here is how being a coach, or here is how being a client can actually help you stay accountable. So it's not just selling them something, it's coaching them through and holding their hand through doing those programs because you have learned for yourself what the programs and the community and the accountability and all of that can do. So
yeah, and I'll add to that because one of the reasons my husband was like, Allie, you can't do this is because I actually did an MLM a few years ago and lost like a ton of money. And so that was one of my questions for Paige was like, how is this different than an MLM or a different MLM? And it is like 100% different because before I felt so salesy and I literally never feel like that doing this. Because I'm just saying, this is what works for me. This is what I'm loving. This is what's changing my life. Do you want to join me? And you're not like, this is the product that you can buy. And like, you literally are never talking about products unless they ask you, but you're not like, you need this to change your life. It's like, this is how you can change your lifestyle, not drink this and you'll be different.
I love that. Allie, since I feel like you might know, and this is a super personal question, you can just say pass. Do you have any idea how much money you've made in your first 3 months?
Almost $500.
Yeah, which is incredible. Like so cool to me that she's killed it. And I will tell you, not everybody comes out and like kills it like Allie's done in her first 3 months, but she's been so like she's asked me so many questions. She always shows up like when we have team calls and like things like she's always there. And when you put in the work and you seek to learn, you are going to make money. Like you will, because like it's just like any job. There's a way you do the job the right way and there's a way you do it the wrong way. So if you seek to learn and you actually put in the work, you will make money with this. Okay, Allie, anything else on that?
I don't think so.
All right, I'm going to pass it to Shelby. She's going to tell you a little bit about the added accountability and just our community with coaching.
Yeah, so obviously there's the community aspect and the accountability aspect that comes from your challenge group or whatever that looks like for you, whether it's Facebook or the app or whatever, if you're already in one. But when you're coaching...
I'm out. Can you back up and explain what a challenge group is?
Yes. Okay. Is anyone, Jenna, I know you're in a challenge group, or is anyone else in one? You are? Okay. So basically, so I run mine and like that's how Paige ran hers was through Facebook, and Allie, you do yours through Facebook also, and then Casey does too. So basically we have check-ins every single day to hold each other accountable, and it looks different for every group. There's no right or wrong way. The only wrong way would be if you just added people and didn't check in with them, honestly. Like you can run it however you want to. And I know that like Paige, for us, when we started coaching, she offered for when we first started to just add people to her accountability group. So we would like learn as a coach how to run it. But again, there's no like right or wrong way. So it really is just a place, whether it be on Facebook or if your coach has like uses the challenge tracker app, which I've personally never used, but I know some coaches like it. So if anyone wants to explain that, you can, because I've never actually used it before. But anyways, they can do it however they want, but it's really just a place that you are checking in with each other daily with work, nutrition. People can ask questions. I know that a lot of us like on Paige's team will share resources with each other on our coaching team page, and then we can share those with our accountability group, like different tips and tricks for stuff. And so like I know during the holidays a lot of like coaches did like a bingo board. So if you did a certain number of like workouts and crossed them off the bingo board, then you'd be entered in to win a prize. Just fun stuff like that that keeps you going when even through like Christmas and New Year's when you don't want to. So that there's accountability in that, but then like I said, so Paige has a coaching team page that we're all a part of, and then we as coaches have our own team page. So you have that added community and accountability, and I literally would not have met any of them if it weren't for coaching. Like the only person I knew before on this call right now is Jenna, and like we went to college together, and everyone else I met through and my sister, she's here listening too. She's over here finishing her bar workout this morning, listening because she didn't want to miss it. But anyways, so other than that, I met all of these people on Instagram. I haven't even met Allie in person yet, but I talk to her at least like 3 times a week. And Casey is wherever she is on your screen, she's like my success partner. And so we check in with each other every day. We are also like, so like, it's kind of freaky. We have the same tattoo here in different languages, but that's a different story. Anyways, so the added community and accountability comes also from posting yourself on Instagram, which sounds kind of like crazy, but when you're checking in every day with people on Instagram and like showing just even like 10 seconds of your workout, that's something that changed my business. Because at first, like, you can ask Paige, I asked her, I was like, do I have to do social media? And like, I grew up with a mom selling Mary Kay, and she would just talk to people out in public or talk to friends or have parties and all that kind of stuff, and she didn't use social media at all. And so I'm like, I can do that, like whatever. But it changed my business like in the beginning of August when I actually started posting my workouts, and that accountability alone like changed so much for me, like health wise, but also just business wise too. So there's accountability through that. There's accountability through, we have like a Zoom link like this that we call like our virtual gym that a bunch of us will like work out on. There's accountability through having success partners in the business, but then also on the health side of things. So we have a bar and bachelor group right now, and we just like got bar buddies. So we're like checking in with each other, specifically with like that person each day. And so the last thing I really wanted to point out was within the community, just like the coaching community, there are so many resources. It's not even funny. Like there's so many that we get just as people that sign up and you get bod. There's so many like nutrition things. There's so many different tips for workouts. But there are so many resources for you to have a successful business also. We have Paige, who is our fearless leader, and so she gives us so many resources, and then we have all of the coaches on her team, and then you add Paige's coach and all of her resources and the coaches that she has, and so it really is such a community of just uplifting each other and not really like against each other. Like we are a team, and it's not just like, oh, Paige's coach is up here sitting and doing nothing because we're all like working our butts off. It's not that at all. Like I know that I've actually had somebody ask me that question about like it being a pyramid scheme like that, and I was like, no, that's not how it works. And so it really is such a team thing, which again kind of just comes back to like the community aspect that it brings. So I had one question kind of like for everyone, if you want to put your answer like in the chat box. But okay, so when you think back on like a health goal that you had, or even like if you played sports growing up, whatever your goal was, like if you wanted to increase your vertical, if you wanted to get stronger, like whatever, like what did the community or accountability look like in your life then? Or what was something like you wish like you would have had as far as like accountability or something goes? So I'll type it in the box like while Paige is talking, but if you already have your answer, have at it. So anything y'all want to add, feel free.
I'll just say the community is my favorite part. Like coaching wouldn't be what it is without like the team of girls that I get to do it with, who are my coworkers. Like technically they are my coworkers, and we get to travel together. Like we have retreats together. We learn from one another. We do Zoom things like this all the time. Like, we are a real, like, a little family, and it's so much fun. So one of the questions that I get a lot, or one of the hesitations I get a lot, is like, I'm really busy. Like, I'll talk to somebody about coaching, and they're like, I'm too busy. Like, I don't have time for that. But I just want you to know that coaching is something that you can fit into your life. And like I said, whatever your goals are with it, you can make that work within your life, and you can work coaching around your life, rather than like most jobs, you have to work life around your work. This is not like that. And that's what attracted me to it the most, I would say, is I wasn't going to have a boss. And I got to choose when I worked. So if I needed to work at 5 a.m. or 2 a.m. or 3 p.m., I could do that, and nobody was going to tell me when I had to work. So as a teacher, obviously it looked a whole lot different than it does now for me, now that I'm full-time. So as a teacher, I would wake up at 5 a.m. and you're probably like, oh, I'm not signing up for that. That sounds like crap. And I will tell you, my first year as a coach and as a teacher, I said, no way, I'm not doing that. Like, I hate morning. No. So my first full year as a coach, I didn't do that. I did afternoon workouts. I did not work in the morning. I didn't have as big of goals my first year as a teacher as I did, or my first year as a coach as I did my second year. So I just worked my business when I felt like it, to be completely honest. And I probably put in like 30-ish minutes a day. And what it looked like for me is I would maybe send a few messages in the morning, or respond to people who would ask me things. Like, they'll see me doing my workout. They're like, what workout are you doing? Or like, I want to work out with you, or whatever. They'll ask me random questions. So a lot of it is being social with people who interact with you, and interacting with other people. But I want to tell you more about what I did last year, because I was more structured. So last year I had huge goals. I knew I wanted to walk away from teaching. I knew I wanted to make a full-time income. So I woke up at 5 a.m. every single morning. Best decision I ever made, because my day was so structured. And believe it or not, if you're able to wake up in the morning and like get a workout in and have a little morning routine, you have way more energy, and your day is just set up to be amazing. So I woke up at 5. I did my workout, and like Ali said, my personal development all of last year was counseling and my Bible. And that's still what it is a lot right now, because that's how I grow as a person. So I would work out, I would read my Bible, I would have my coffee, I would send a few messages, I might make a post, I might get on my story. Definitely I would be showing people my workout. And then I would go to school all day. I would have from 8 to 3, unless it was volleyball season. Then I would have from 8 until 5, where I couldn't work on my coaching business. So I was super busy. And some nights it was a game night. So I'd have from 8 until like 9:30, where I couldn't work. And I still made it work, because you can work your business in the 30 minutes you have before work and the 30 minutes you have before you go to bed, and you can start making an income with that time in a day. And that's exactly what I did. I would hop on team calls if I was home. Sometimes I'd be listening to team calls with one hand and doing dishes with the other. I would do laundry, and I would listen to personal development. Like, I just made it work. When I drove an hour to my counseling appointments, I was also on the phone, like talking to potential girls who wanted to work out with me and answering their questions. Or like, I specifically remember talking to Casey on my way to counseling. I called her and I talked to her for probably most of the way. Just talked about, like, she had so many questions about coaching, and we actually had several phone conversations, and I just made it work. Like, when I had time and I could multitask, that's what I was doing, and I fit it into my day. The very cool thing about coaching is you decide everything. You decide all of your hours. And the thing is, if you don't put the time in, you don't make the income. Nobody's going to kick you off the team. Nobody's going to say, oh, you didn't meet the quota. Like, I hate you. You're gone. That's not the way it works. It's like, you do what you can, but the time you put in it is directly reflected in your paycheck. So that is how it worked for me. Now it's actually kind of similar. I just have a lot more time. I do this full time, you guys. I stepped away from teaching, and I design my day every single day. And you know what I do usually is I will look, like Sunday, I'll look at my calendar, I'll look at my planner, and I'll say, what do I want to do this week? And I will fill in what I want to do, or I will fill in like appointments, counseling, meetings I have at church, small group, and then I figure out coaching around it. So like tonight, we host small group at my house. My church, like people from my church come over. So I scheduled tonight at 8:30 for this call because of my life. I said, it has to be at 8:30 because I have people coming to my house. And that's the thing I love most about coaching is I live life. and work fits around it. And before this, when I was a teacher, it didn't feel like that at all. It felt like everything revolved around my teaching day, and I was done with that. Like, I don't want to live a life on somebody else's watch, and I should pass it on. I feel like I've been talking forever about my schedule. So you make it work. You fit it into the cracks of your day. I imagine the other girls are going to say something similar, but they have very different lives. So I'll pass it to Allie.
Okay. So I am a stay-at-home mom to a 1.5-year-old and a 3-year-old. So really most of my day is dedicated to them. But I totally am like, whenever maybe they're watching a show for 30 minutes or something, then I can send messages, or during nap time, or my son goes to preschool 2 days a week. So those are kind of like my really big days. And sometimes I'll like Zoom call Paige and Shelby and work with them on those days. But really, it's like whenever you have a few minutes, even if you say I have 5 minutes and I can go check my DMs and message 3 people, like that's 100% doable. So it's just whenever you have a few minutes. If you maybe take 10 minutes before you come in from your car and work, then it's like literally anytime you have a few minutes, you can 100% work this business. Yeah, I mean, I have a pretty flexible schedule, so I'm not necessarily exactly what it's going to be like for you, but literally any 5 minutes you have, you can work.
Is that my turn? So last semester and this semester look a lot different for me. So last semester, I'm a grad assistant where I am doing my master's at. So I was coaching there, and I was coaching high school and working a part-time job, working this job. And then with like my grad assistant position, we also had to like help work a desk at the gym, like a couple hours a week. So literally when I would work the desk at the gym is when I would get so much done. But then I would also get up and work in the mornings, at least like 30 minutes, just sending out, like Ali said, just like carving out time to send invites and follow up with people. And like there were times where literally then from like noon or 1 to like 5 that I really would not be on my phone like at all. And so then like just at night, then I would just like follow up with people. But really the biggest thing that I noticed that would actually like change my business and what people would see would be the consistency of me just like posting my workout, but also like posting a little bit about my life, which for me was like having to get out of my comfort zone but just like being intentional about that, but being intentional about the time that you're spending on your business. So if you're like someone that does really like Instagram, just like for Instagram, making sure that you set a timer for however long you want to, like 15 minutes, to like, okay, I'm slowly like finding people that could potentially like be my people, like that I have stuff in common with, or that have been like watching my stories or whatever it is, and being intentional about it. And then after that, then you can use the rest of that time to scroll and get lost in the world of Instagram.
Yeah, that was one thing that like really stood out to me when I first started coaching from Paige, and she was like, you're literally just kind of shifting your time spent on social media to be productive time on social media, because I'm always on Instagram, I'm always on Facebook, but like you're looking for people, you're connecting with people, you're commenting back on what people are doing, as opposed to just like that mindless scroll. So it's not really that much of like I'm adding something, I'm just changing something that was already a part of my day.
Allie, I'm so glad you pointed that out, because I guarantee you most of us spend at least 30 minutes on social media a day. So like she said, it is just shifting your focus and making your time there intentional. And actually, it's kind of crazy, but the more time I've spent building my business on social media platforms, the healthier relationship I actually have with social media. Like before, I was more of like comparing myself, like before I was like out there on social media and having conversations. I don't know, I had an unhealthy review of it before I was on it all the time, which is kind of weird. But what I hope you hear from how we do this is that it really is possible for anybody, and it's shifting your focus and using your time wisely and really choosing to do this thing, and anybody can do it. So the last thing I want to touch on before we open it up for questions is how you make money, because that's pretty stinking important if you ask me. I wanted to know that right off the bat. Like, okay, how am I going to make money doing this thing and how much is it going to cost me? And I want to tell you right off the bat, you will have to invest in this business financially first. And the really cool thing about it is I'm just going to be straight with you and I'm going to be as simple as possible. To start coaching, it's going to cost you $160 unless, like, I see somebody here, for example, who's already like signed up with workouts and stuff. If you are already signed up and you have our workouts and you have our meal plans, talk to us after. But if you are not, it's $160 to start as a coach. And that's because you have to get your resources. You have to get the workouts because you're going to be doing them. You have to get the meal plans because you're going to be following them. And you have to be using our products because you are the face of our products, and our products are amazing. They are such high quality. They're made with amazing ingredients. So usually the two options, we have a lot actually. Personally, I eat our granola bars, so that's part of my investment. We have pre-workout and we have post-workout, and anybody who's tried it here can attest to it's amazing. And then we also have a nutrient-dense shake, which is full of vitamins. So much so, you guys, that so many women, so we have lots of pregnant people on our team, doctors have told them you don't even need a prenatal vitamin because this shake has like so much goodness in it. It's packed with vitamins, which is amazing to me. And like the testimonies of how it makes people feel is all I need. Okay. So when you sign up, you're going to get workouts, your meal plans, and whatever product you choose, $160. So after your first month, you do have a monthly investment for your business. But what I want you to think about, because that freaks people out, is I don't care what business you would ever start, you are going to have a monthly investment for a business. My dad is a business owner. He has been my entire life. And I guarantee you his overhead for his business is way higher than $120 a month. And that's what mine is as a Beachbody coach. I invest $120 a month because I'm buying product every month, which for me, I buy Energize, I buy Beach Bars, and I also buy the shake. So at this point in my business, I buy more because I can. But when I started, I didn't. I bought the bare minimum of what you need to invest. So for me at the beginning, I bought my shake every single month, and we have what's called a business fee. So the reason we have that is $15. So the shake plus the business fee was $120. The reason we have that is because you and we don't have to keep products in our closet. Like I probably mentioned, her mom did Mary Kay. I'm pretty sure she probably had all the products sitting at home. We don't do that. So Beachbody takes care of all the products, thank the Lord. And Beachbody takes care of all the shipping and handling, thank the Lord. So that's what the $15 is for, okay? So here's the really important piece, and here's what sold me, if you will, on I knew I could do this, is to make a profit every single month. All you have to do is help 3 people sign up to work out with you and like join your challenge group. So it's getting 3 people who want to start their I'm getting too excited here. 3 people who want to start their health journeys and work out with you and feel their best a month. That is it. And every single month since I've been a coach, I've worked hard. Do not think that I have not. I've worked really hard and I've been really consistent. But every single month that I've been a coach, I have made profit, and it would grow every single month. So I'm just going to be really, really real with you. And I'm going to tell you a disclaimer again. We don't guarantee what you're going to make. I cannot tell you that your journey is going to look exactly like mine because that's not the way it works. It depends on your hard work. It depends on if you're willing to learn, if you're willing to show up, all of those things. But I want to be so real with you because I need you to know the potential if you are willing to show up. My first month as a coach, I made $600. By month 6 of being a coach, I was making $1,000. By month 8, I was making, or actually probably more like 9 to 10. Month 9 to 10, I was matching my take home as a teacher, which not a whole lot, you guys, but it was like $2,500. And then by the next January, so I grew a ton in my first year. Then it took me almost a full year again. I was making about $2,500, at most $3,000 for the rest of that year per month. But then at the beginning of last year, so exactly a year ago now, I had my first $4,000 a month check. $4,000. It grew steadily, and I worked my buns off. But at that point, that's when I knew I could step away from teaching, and I knew I wanted to pursue this full time. I want to be honest with you again that my income has not been $4,000 every single month since this time last year. But on average, when I added up my salary from last year, not salary, that's the wrong way to say it, but when I added up what I made in 2019, on average, I did make that, because my highest month ever, and I'm just spilling it, I've never spilled it like this before, but I just need you to know the opportunity. My highest month in last year was $6,000 in a month. And it was in July when we had a new program launching, and everybody wants to get healthy in July. But on average last year, I was matching my teaching salary. And I know that with continued hard work and continuing to do the same things I've done, my income's only going to grow. But I also need you to know this is 2.5 years in, and 2.5 years of showing up every single day. But let's scale it back. Let's take it way back. I want you to know the opportunity. I want you to know the possibility. But I need you to start really small and think, you know what? I can invest $160. I can change my life personally. I can feel the best I've ever felt in my entire life. And if I help 3 girls a month, or guys, 3 people, that's it. I can make money and feel the best I've ever felt in my entire life and make some of the best girlfriends I've ever made in my entire life. That's how it starts. And it's a continued little snowball every single month, every single year that you're growing. But it takes work and it takes consistency. You will not be able to sign up and work out for a month and take a month off and try to come back and see your income grow. That's not how it's going to work. So if you want this to be a side income thing, you're going to put less work into it. But if you want to make a full-time income, then you're hopefully going to follow in my footsteps, and hopefully you're going to take the same action steps I did, and we can get you there too. Like I said, I can't guarantee it, but I can guarantee you if you work hard and you're consistent and you're willing to learn and be coached, be teachable, you will make money. And it could be the most life-changing thing you ever decide to do. Because for me, like I told you guys, I never thought I'd get a tattoo. I didn't think I could commit to a tattoo. But this whole thing has led to so much freedom in my life in so many ways that I would be crazy not to share the big picture with you about what coaching can really be. So I know that Shelby asked you to put something in the chat, and I want to ask you something. I want you to take a second and think. If you just say you signed up today to be a coach, and if you hear this and you're like, that's totally not for me, that's totally okay with us. We don't want you to start this if you don't want to do it. We want you to do it if you want to do it. It's an amazing opportunity if it sounds like something that fits you. So if you could just dream a number up and be like, dang, I'd love to start. And in 6 months to a year, I'd love to make this income monthly. Put it in the chat. What would you want to make income-wise with coaching monthly if you could dream and you could just pick a number? I'm seeing some big numbers. And I love it. My first goal, I was like, I'm going to make $1,000 a month. That was my first goal. Jenna, I love that goal too, of just a tangible, I want to pay for this thing. For me, a big motivator was my student loans. I want to pay that number. So I love that. Lauren, I love that too. And that is a goal. When you put something like staying home with kids behind it, it's okay, that's the thing that's going to make you work. If you know you want to stay home with kids and you know this can get you there, that is an amazing goal. I love that. Okay, trips too. Seriously, fun money. When I was teaching and doing this at the same time, I had so much fun with my fun money. Okay, I'm going to take us off recording because I would like you to be able to ask questions, and we're not going to post those all over the internet. So I'm going to stop this.